Hello everybody and welcome back to another indie game devlog on my Unity game, 100 Stage Dodge game. Today I want to obviously go over that I just updated my game, and I want to go over everything that was added into the game, and the fact that now I have a WebGL version of the game, which basically means you could play the game on the browser directly and you don't even have to download it. So it's actually really cool. So a quick description on the game is it's a game with 100 stages and the whole goal is to dodge. It's a roguelike or roguelite, whatever you want to call it. If you fail, that means you start all the way back over to the beginning. You can only dodge in the game, so no attacking back. You do find abilities along the way that help you avoid the enemies. And if you want to play the game, there's going to be a link to the itch page. You don't even have to download the game. It's pretty cool. And I'm going to go over some of the updates. And some of the stuff, most of the stuff is from previous videos, but I'll just go over it just in case you haven't seen. So I added the enemy tags, which basically show you where the enemy is positioned when they're off the camera of the game. So you have a bit more awareness of where the enemies are. I added random tips in the game at certain levels once they end, or at the very first level, or stage 0 is not really the first level. That just tell you some useful info about the game. I added the background color changing just like by itself, and when an enemy collides with the player, it like changes. You'll see that on screen now, and it looks really cool. I added more options to the game: FPS counter, lighting, the option for lighting in the game, and post-processing being toggle. How do you say that? Toggleable? You can turn it on and off, basically. Doesn't change much about the game, but yeah. I had a lot of trouble when trying to get the game to be playable on the browser. There was a lot of things where I had to adjust like certain pixel counts on the site to where it would be able to show this little bottom bar right here. So I had to make the game like resolution higher on the height section. It's weird. And I had a lot of trouble with the full screen of the game. I had to disable buttons due to it just not working with the game, like resolution and full screen, like I said. Because when you click the full screen, it kind of messed up the whole screen, and part of the screen would be just blank. You wouldn't see anything, and the game would be in a little corner. Then I looked at the Unity project settings and I changed stuff around, and it eventually worked. Somewhat okay, good enough, you know. That's an indie game tip, by the way. If you're making one, sometimes you have to just go with good enough, or actually all the time. So after I released the game, people had their comments on it, and it seemed like people liked it. And we'll get back to that, but I realized that obstacles in the game, not the enemies, but obstacles, which basically don't have the little timers beneath them, and they aren't destroyed until the stage is over. They were completely out of the game, and if you want to know why, it's literally because I disabled something to test something out, and then yeah. So that was a big part of the game that I just completely cut out unintentionally. It wasn't even a bug or anything like that, which is in a way better than it being a bug, but yeah, back to people's thoughts on the game. Someone said, I'll have their comment on the screen now. Trigo Canary. Okay, you have to help me with the pronunciation of your name. I watch your videos all the time, but I don't know. I'll leave his YouTube in the description, or YouTube link in the description if you want to check his devlogs out. They're pretty cool. But he suggested that the game was too easy in a sense of where the heart drops were too common, and I did change that, and I also just made the game more difficult in general. So yeah, by basically just increasing their stats and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the end of this recap devlog. slash new devlog releasing my game to WebGL, or I honestly don't know how to say it. Someone help me here. But just basically my game could be played on the browser. You probably understand that by now. And that's kind of like a little insight of what I went through. Usually with devlogs that I do, I just kind of show what I added, and I don't really go into the process of things. But yeah, I thought I would go a little bit more in depth since this is kind of an important thing. I This is like the first main update, or actually it was two updates after the I figured out the obstacles weren't spawning and I wanted to change the difficulty, as you'll probably see on the screen. That was another patch for the game. And I forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.